My blessings and love to you all. I am Aaron. We're practicing toward freedom. Freedom from suffering. And the results of suffering. When I am suffering, well, I am not suffering. When I used to be suffering, I could see where mind was clinging. I want it to be this way. I don't want it to be that way. When I have an idea of it needs to be this way, it prevents me from seeing all the other possibilities. Some of you have a sense of needing the world to go back to the way it was. Wanting to go out and dance with your friends, to go to the baseball games and movie theaters and concerts. Simply not to be afraid of an unseen virus. As long as you cling to that, this is how it has to be. How can you see the other possibilities? Barbara has been suffering because she is attached to holding on to her home, to being able to keep Hal at home. She thinks she doesn't want to have to move someplace else. She has lived here for over 50 years. She loves this land, the orchard behind the house, the woods. And so she suffers when she thinks, I don't know if I can maintain it. Well, maybe she can't. What new possibilities could there be that could be beautiful? What new ways of being together in the world could there be that will be beautiful? Each of you live very isolated lives, even before the virus, each in your own homes. Never in all of my lifetimes have I seen people live in so much separation. Is this what you want? Each with your own home or apartment, your own autonomy. And there's such a prevalent loneliness in your society. Maybe this is not the way it has to be. I see both the joy and the challenges of those people who live in, for example, the co-housing communities. Much less isolation. And yet, they have to be willing to hear each other and to let go of their idea, no, this is how I want it to be. So much of what you are learning is about letting go and truly hearing with your heart. So let's talk a bit about what practices can help support that kind of letting go. I'm looking here. I've written myself a few notes. I don't usually do that, but as the past few days went by, I noted some things I did want to talk about. Mostly in our practice, we're aware of objects, and then spaciousness, but not the simultaneity of object and spaciousness. That old hand. Looking, you can see the objects. Do it with it. Look at the fingers. Bring it close, just a few inches. See the fingers. Focus on the fingers, and then look through the fingers. Come back to the fingers. Look through the fingers. See if you can feel the simultaneity of the solid object and the space. The solid object is often the I want it this way. The solid object is often the body, and I want the body to be healthy and free of pain. I want the mind to be calm and still. I want the texture of consciousness to be joyful and open-hearted. In this way, you create a solid self that believes that everything will be comfortable and you will be happy when everything is revolving just right around the self. But my dear ones, what is this self? Look around you in your room. Do you have a wooden chair or table? What is it? Presumably it has, well, a table could have just one pedestal leg. But let's say presumably it has 4 legs and a flat surface that is the tabletop or chair. If we take the surface off, is it still a chair or table? If we take the legs off, is it still a chair or table? Look at it. What is it? It is simply composed of table elements or chair elements. You are simply composed of non-person elements, a physical body, a mental body, an emotional body, preferences, consciousness. Is this the body you were born with, or has it changed? Are these the thoughts you had yesterday, or have they changed? Is the food you delighted in yesterday what you want today, and what you want for the next 3 weeks? What are you when these all dissolve? Barbara spoke of her experience of lying on the sand with the waves coming in on that thin sand spit, seeing them breaking and sinking into the sand. A very solid wave, but nothing there but ocean. You are a solid wave. And you dissolve into what? This is is where we keep returning to finding the simultaneity of the aggregates and awareness, this essence of your being. We can use so many different names for it. The name doesn't matter. In your practice, as you observe thoughts to arise and then pass away, and immediately as they pass away, come back to that spaciousness, that emptiness, which is full of the essence of what you are. Physical sensations arise and pass away. What remains? Emotions arise and pass away. What remains? Practicing in this way, just sitting and experiencing the arising of sensations, of thoughts, of planning mind, of remembering, of the itch, of the ache, hot, cold, fear, preferences. Another one, and another one, and another one. All arising out of conditions and empty of a separate self. For many, this experience of dissolution of the ego is terrifying. Will I annihilate to myself? What will I become? You become nothing that you are not already, which is this radiant light, this essence. Then people ask me, well, how do I work with that terror? The same way you work with anything else. No terror as terror. I will annihilate myself. Of course, you cannot annihilate yourself. You are only dropping off at the things that are not necessary. This, is it Barbara? We drop it off. What remains? This, not Barbara. Release it. This, not Barbara. Cut it off. No, I won't cut her hair. Don't worry. What remains? What remains? What is the true radiant heart? You cannot live from Sambhogakaya Bridge until you know the true radiant heart. You may experience it in the profound experiences of Dharmakaya, but you have to bring it back so that you are not just resting in the spaciousness, but you see the objects also, and offer the intention to release self-identification with each object. Preferences, my preferences. Okay, it's fine to have preferences. I choose to have a grilled cheese sandwich rather than a hot dog. That's fine. But then we take it a bit further and look at attachment. I must have the grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, really? All we have are hot dogs. So you're going to supper? You must have the pear. I have apples. Mind hardens in this way, and it is the ego saying, I want this, I want that. But the heart knows better. The heart knows how to find joy with things as they are. How to say thank you to things as they are. This does not mean you cease effort toward what you choose to manifest. But that effort comes from a place of open heart and not grasp. I'm looking to see if I'm recording. Spaciousness is always there. When you fixate on the fingers and you lose the spaciousness, just be aware, losing spaciousness. When you are resting in awareness, floating in spaciousness, come back for a moment to an object, breathing or touching. Reground yourself in the Nirmanakaya. And in this way, you learn to rest more on the bridge. You all know this practice. I'm not telling you anything new. I hope I am simply reminding you and re-inspiring. Resting in love. Resting in the true self. This is the aspect of you that when Yeshua comes in and says, you are no different than I am. You also are love. You also are this spark of God. Mindfulness is the path. When you become aware of contracting, for example, and note contracting, that which is aware of contraction is not contracted. When you become aware of grasping, that which is aware of grasping is not grasping. Yet when you become aware of the experience of the open, radiant, unarmored, loving heart, you just rest there. This is it. You rest there. And then you act from there. This is it. This is what your world is asking of you. This is what your life is asking of you. And so many of you are jumping in, saying, yes, I can do this. Those are my instructions, not really instructions at all. Not anything you don't already know. Spaciousness and then Vipassana. When resting in spaciousness, if it becomes too loose, move back a little more to focus on object awareness. If the object awareness gets too tight, relax more into spaciousness. Do it first in your formal practice and then do it as you weed your garden or take out the trash or wave to your neighbor across the street, bringing it into your life. All right. I'm going to step out of the body now and invite love in to talk to you for a few minutes. I am the one you have called love. And you are equally love. Feel it. You are love. Aaron, can I see their faces? Aaron says to push this gallery view. Ah, good. I'm happy to see you all. I don't want to look at myself. You are human. As human, you are both love and you are a mammal, with mammalian reflexes. You startle. You fight or flee or freeze. Then you judge the mammal. But the mammal is precious. It is your learning form. There in heaven, with no painful catalyst. When I say heaven, put quotation marks around that, please. They're in a situation with no painful catalyst. It's easy not to armor the heart. It's easy to hold still and embrace everything. It's easy to have compassion. But then there is really no ground for compassion, because everything is clear and beautiful. You very courageously choose this mammalian form, that you might feel painful emotions, painful body sensations, confusion, grief. You choose it because it is your free will that is the most significant attribute of you. That is your ability to say, not fear, not pain, not hatred, not greed, but the open heart that is all-inclusive and cherishes all. To be able to do that takes practice. When something pushes you and you close up, there needs to be the skill developed that notes armoring, closing, wanting to hit back. And then the second step, the compassionate no. You may not push me in that way. No, you may not push him or her in that way. I love you, and from the ground of this love, I say no. Gandhi's word, satyagraha. It's not really his word. He employed it. It means soul force. The power of the awakened soul that you are. To live from the middle of that bridge with love in the world. With love to yourself. It is the same soul force that's able to see the thistle growing in the middle of your vegetable garden and say, no, you may not grow there, and pluck it out. If it makes you feel bad to harm the thistle, plant a thistle patch beside the garden. Pluck out the thistle and put it in the earth over there. No, you may not take over my vegetable garden. I'm not suggesting that you must replant the thistle, only if you want to take it non-harm that far, that's fine. But it is important to learn that you can say no from a place of love, so that shame and a feeling of wrongness about the self does not arise. Then you begin to trust the true power of love, and love mingled with a deep intention to do no harm. One of you is asking, won't it harm the thistle if I pick it up and throw it in the compost pile? It will decay into compost. Its energy will come back to feed something else. You don't have to replant it. You may if you wish. I want to emphasize here that your practice gives you the opportunity to learn what it feels like to be the love that you are. Be that love with me. I cannot do it alone. So I beseech you, join with me. Allow your beautiful heart to open, because together we can do this. When I invited innumerable expressions of myself into the world, into the universe, it was just for this reason. I am love, and I can create what I wish. But it is meaningless without this loving universe-wide saga of beings developing into full, radiant expressions of love. What does it mean to be infant? I am infant. And yet, I am limited. Because I have no one to dance with unless you, as love, will come and dance with me. I do not need your power. What I ask is you to overcome the old limiting beliefs, so that increasingly you may express as love. You are given such a beautiful practice to do this. And my dear ones, we do not expect you to be perfect. What is perfect? Only to bring love to whatever is challenging it at the moment, and to receive love and to let it fill you. To know together we are love. And that which is negative and contracted, that which holds intention to destroy, intention to create suffering, this cannot flourish, because love is the most powerful force in the universe. Keep that intention to bring this force forth. Just keep it moving, a bit at a time. Coming back to the garden. Your corn and tomatoes and spinach and broccoli and beans and eggplant, all growing. Everything coming up. And big thistle plants that have blown in and are flourishing. Can you take each thistle and say, no, not here. This is my garden. And gently put it in the compost pile. Can you even say to the thistle, thank you for reminding me of the strength of love and compassion? But you may not destroy my garden, because my garden will feed so many people. You may not be here. And then if the thistle looks like it needs a place to be, as I said, find a little patch off to one side and let the thistles grow there. That's okay. There will always be the thistles. There will always be some arising of fear or other negative or contracting emotion. No, you may not grow here, but just sit there and relax. I do not heed you, fear. I do not heed you, anger. I have compassion. You grow out of conditions, and the conditions have not been fully resolved. I'm smiling here. Aaron is saying, love, you're getting the vocabulary. Everything learns. I learned a new vocabulary from Aaron and all of you. I am love. You are love. That essence of you can never be destroyed. It can be hidden. Let it out. It can be forgotten, reawakened. I want friends to dance with me in the garden of love. You are so special and beautiful. Each of you, the millions of beings on this earth who had the courage to incarnate, to move past old limiting habit patterns of fear and remember the essence of love. This is what your practice is for. I want to thank you for giving this week of your time to this practice. I know you have another day, but I probably will not talk to you tomorrow. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. My heart to your heart. I love you. I will release the body to Barbara. Thank you, Eric.